Hello, thanks for joining us today for our chapter book story time here at the Caribou Public Library. I'm Miss Erin, and we are going to be continuing to read in the Golden Goose book. Today, it has illustrations by L. Leslie Brooke, and our chapter today is actually the story of the three bears. So maybe you know this story already, but we are going to enjoy it in its original form with new illustrations. So I hope you have a fun time today. All right, so we have the story of the three bears. Here are three bears, right? A mama bear and a papa bear and a baby bear. And then here's another illustration. I wonder what they're doing there. Let's find out. Once upon a time, there were three bears who lived together in a house of their own in a wood. One of them was a little small wee bear, and one was a middle-sized bear, and the other was a great huge bear. They each had a pot for their porridge, a little pot for the little small wee bear, and a middle-sized pot for the middle bear, and a great pot for the great huge bear. And they had each a chair to sit in, a little chair for this little small wee bear, and a middle-sized chair for the middle bear, and a great chair for the great huge bear. Are you noticing a pattern? And they had each a bed to sleep in. A little bed for the little small wee bear, and a middle-sized bed for the middle bear, and a great big bed for the great huge bear. One day, after they had made the porridge for their breakfast and poured it into their porridge pots, they walked out into the wood while the porridge was cooling, that they might not burn their mouths by beginning too soon to eat it. And while, here they are pouring the porridge into their bowls. Look how steaming and hot it is. And while they were walking, a little girl called Goldilocks came to the house. First, she looked in at the window, and then she peeped in at the keyhole. And seeing nobody in the house, she turned the handle of the door. The door was not fastened because the bears were good bears who did nobody any harm, and they never suspected that anyone would harm them. So Goldilocks opened the door and went in. And well pleased she was when she saw the porridge on the table. If she had been a thoughtful little girl, she would have waited until the bears came home, and then perhaps they would have asked her to breakfast, for they were good bears, a little rough or so, as the manner of bears is, but for all that very good-natured and hospitable. But the porridge looked tempting, and she set about helping herself. Here she is, peeping into the keyhole. And then over here we have Goldilocks looking at the porridge. So she tasted the porridge of the great huge bear, and it was too hot for her. And then she tasted the porridge of the middle bear, and that was too cold for her. And she went to the porridge of the little small wee bear and tasted that. And that was neither too hot nor too cold, but just right. And she liked it so well that she ate it all up. Then Goldilocks sat down in the chair of the great huge bear, and that was too hard for her. And then she sat down in the chair of the middle bear, and that was too soft for her. Then she sat down in the chair of the little small wee bear, and that was neither too hard nor too soft, but just right. And so she seated herself in it. There she sat until the bottom of the chair came out, and down she came, plump, onto the ground. Here she is, falling through. Yikes. Then Goldilocks went upstairs into the bedchamber in which the three bears slept. At first she lay down upon the bed of the great huge bear, but that was too high at the head for her. Next, she lay down upon the bed of the middle bear, and that was too high at the foot for her. Then she lay down upon the bed of the small wee bear, and that was neither too high at the head nor at the foot, but just right. And so she covered herself up comfortably and lay there until she fell fast asleep. By this time, the 3 bears thought their porridge would be cool enough, so they came home to breakfast. Now Goldilocks had left the spoon of the great huge bear standing in his porridge. "Somebody has been eating, or has been at my porridge," said the great huge bear in his great rough, gruff voice. And when the middle bear looked at hers, she saw that the spoon was standing in it too. "Somebody has been at my porridge," said the middle bear in her middle voice. Then the little small wee bear looked at his, and there was the spoon in the porridge pot, but the porridge was all gone. "Somebody has been at my porridge and has eaten it all up," said the little small wee bear in his little small wee voice. Here he is looking at his empty bowl. How disappointing. And then this one shows, the big, huge bear looking at the spoon in his bowl. Not happy, right? Upon this, the 3 bears, seeing that someone had entered their house and eaten up the little small wee bear's breakfast, began to look about them. Now Goldilocks had not put the hard cushions straight when she rose from the chair of the great huge bear. See, here it is. He can see. Uh-oh. What's going on? "Somebody has been sitting in my chair," said the great huge bear in his great rough, gruff voice. And Goldilocks had squashed down the soft cushion of the middle bear. "Somebody has been sitting in my chair," said the middle bear in her middle voice. And you know what Goldenlocks had done to the 3rd chair. "Somebody has been sitting in my chair and has sat the bottom out of it," said the little small wee bear in his little small wee voice. Oh, he's so sad. Look at that horrible chair broken out. Then the 3 bears thought it necessary that they should make further search, so they went upstairs into their bedchamber. Now Goldilocks had pulled the pillow of the great huge bear out of its place. "Somebody has been lying in my bed," said the great huge bear in his great rough, gruff voice. No. How could they? And Goldenlocks had pulled the bolster of the middle bear out of its place. "Somebody has been lying in my bed," said the middle bear in her middle voice. And when the little small wee bear came to look at his bed, there was the bolster in its place, and the pillow in its place upon the bolster, and upon the pillow was the head of Goldenlocks, which was not in its place, for she had no business there. "Somebody has been lying in my bed, and here she is," said the little small wee bear in his little small wee voice. There she is lying in the bed, sleeping so peacefully. Goldenlocks had heard in her sleep the great rough, gruff voice of the great huge bear and the middle voice of the middle bear, but it was only as if she had heard someone speaking in a dream. But when she heard the little small wee voice of the little small wee bear, it was so sharp and so shrill that it awakened her at once. Up she started when she saw the 3 bears on one side of the bed. She tumbled herself out at the other and ran to the window. Look, oh, there she is, so frightened of the bears. And it looks like the bears are watching her out the window. Did she escape? Now the window was open because the bears, like good tidy bears as they were, always opened their bedchamber window when they got up in the morning. Out Goldenlocks jumped and ran away as fast as she could run, never looking behind her, and what happened to her afterwards, I cannot tell. But the three bears never saw anything more of her. And here they all are, sleeping soundly in their great huge bed and their middle bed and the very small wee bed. Now, you know, I started this story out by saying Goldilocks. And then as I was reading, I realized that in the book, her name is Goldenlocks, like her hair, her locks of hair were golden. So that's why I changed midway. I think we're all used to hearing Goldilocks from the way that the story has been told more recently, maybe. Well, that's it for today. Thanks for joining us again, and we will see you next time. Our next story is going to be, should have looked, The Three Little Pigs. All right, we'll see you then. Bye for now.